Good evening, everybody. Welcome to On Deck. I'm Russ Morgan here with Rob Mosley. Rob, how's your week going? How's everything
Yeah, it's
going
been
down in South Florida?
busy. I was up in Gainesville actually most of the week, but it is what it is. I would have loved to try to catch a Gators game, but it just didn't work out while I was up there. But it was busy week up in Gainesville. Back to always kept a hold of my Red Sox though, so a little behind in some of the other baseball. But I streamed the Red Sox game on the tablet while in the hotel room, much to the you know disbelief of the wife. This teasing. It was all fun. We and both she would look over every so often too and watch the game. So the Red Sox are playing well, which makes me happy. Your Yankees are still way up there. Jeff's Orioles are still way up there. So it's been fun to say the least, man. We got a lot of good baseball to talk to tonight.
Yep, got a lot of good baseball. Obviously, you're up in Gainesville. I got to get to a game up there. Obviously, being a guy who scouted, and I've always, ever since I started, I would say maybe 10, I started watching the College World Series and really getting into it. You got to go to Florida. You got to watch Jack Caglione, who's supposed to be probably going to be a top 3 pick, is
Oh
what they're
yeah, for sure,
expecting.
man.
And if you've ever watched the game, the guy's he'll probably. I think he'll just end up offensively. But if you've seen him offensively, the guy's a freak too. He's huge, and even they got him on ESPN now. His home runs, which we'll see if he does both ways. But yeah, definitely that's
I know
something I
you've
gotta
always said you
gotta
like
get up
his
to.
hitting more than you like his pitching. His pitching, he's a little
His
inconsistent. He gets
pitching's a little
wild.
inconsistent. I like his hitting a little better, but hey, a guy that big, someone might, an organization might, and he's left-handed, see something that they can work with him and get him there. A big left-handed guy, you can't take that. So it's definitely Gainesville. I got to try to get up there once or twice for a game.
Yeah.
But we'll kick it off. Obviously, in the best division, the AL East. Not a great week for my Yankees. Losing 3 out of 4 to the Orioles. The one upside is our pitching didn't look terrible. We, we beat the Orioles 2-0. Lucas Gill goes 6 innings, giving up 2 hits.
Yeah, I think you beat him in the night Burns pitch too,
Yeah,
right?
I mean, yesterday, one bad inning by Rondon. Gleyber Torres makes a mistake a mistake you never make, throwing the ball across the diamond to third base and hits Westberg in the back, and that keeps it going. So Rondon pitched good, but was it Monday night they lose 2-0, and I think it was Stroman on the bump. You think if you're a pitcher, hey, I gave up 2 runs to come out of the game, you're probably setting yourself up for a win. And
Correct.
the offense was just not there. Soto's doing his thing. He's always doing his thing. But I mean, so I'm happy. I'm happy the pitching's looking better because I was, especially with Cole out, who's supposed to be. I got a little news. Cole should start pitching off the mound on Monday. Is
Oh,
what they're
I was going to give you that update, man. You're always still in the thunder. I wrote my notes here, but that's okay. You're the Yankee fan, so but we don't even have Scotty in here right now, and he's always the one asking for the update.
Yeah, I mean, so he's supposed to be on Monday. We'll see, but he won't be back when he comes off the injured list. Anyway, this Soto does that all the time. Soto, I'm just waiting for Soto, to face one of these veteran guys, Verlander, and he does it and just bury one in the back because they don't like when he does his little thing after a ball. But yeah, that offense. I mean, I'm happy their pitching's looking solid, looking good, especially with Cole out. But I mean, the offense was looking abysmal. Aaron Judge is struggling like heck. What do you think about that? Any
Yeah, I know.
thoughts?
I'm surprised that Aaron Judge is struggling. You just keep on getting that feeling, though, he's going to be like a guy that will eventually the light's going to turn on again, and he's going to be hitting the gas pedal, and he's going to have a streak of a few games where he has multiple home runs and all of that. I mean, people do have off seasons, a whole season sometime, even for the best players in baseball. It's happened before, but I see him, and I hate saying it because I'm a Red Sox fan, so it pains me to say it. But I don't think I would not be losing any sleep over Aaron Judge at this point. If after the All-Star break he's still struggling, get back with me, and then I say, okay, maybe something's amiss in Yankee land. But for right now, he's one of the best players out there. He's going to get his eventually, and he's probably pressing a little bit too because Soto's out there smacking the ball, and Judge has always been the big gun there the past few years in his career with the Yankees. So, he needs just to take that deep breath, and he'll be unfortunately smacking the baseball again for you in the near future.
I mean,
Just
I'm
don't get
with
hot
you.
when he plays the Red Sox in June when we finally play each other. That's all I say.
I'm with you on that one, Rob. Definitely, playing baseball when you can't, if you're not getting hits, you can't buy a hit. You could be. I mean, I remember going 0 for 20 my first, or 0 for 15 my first 15 at bat senior year, and I was hitting the crap out of the ball. It's just at people. You can't buy a hit, but once you get that one, you start getting it. So I could definitely see him. I agree with you that he might be pressing because he's trying his best to get that hit. Volpe's
Yeah.
cooled down, which was bound to happen. We'll go to the Orioles on the other side. They look solid. You're getting Grayson Rodriguez shut down the Yankees. We went 5 2/3 with 5 hits. He's 4-1, which, he was definitely a guy who came on late last year and was obviously another, just added to the list of another big prospect they have just, they brought up last year. So, I mean, and now their offense is insane. What do you think,
Yeah, of
Gunnar
course. I mean, they
Henderson?
got an MVP candidate and Gunnar.
Hey, well, I was just about to ask that. You beat me to the punch on that one. So you do. I feel the same way. You agree with me too. I agree with you that Gunnar Henderson, early MVP candidate.
Yep, no, for sure. And then, they just keep on clicking, and then they didn't miss a beat because they're a competitive team. So, Jackson Holiday was struggling a little bit, and they just said, okay, let him go get some at bats. And I say kindly a little bit. He was struggling minorly, but let him go get his hits in the minors and call him back up when he gets his head back on. And he was pressing. So they know they're in it this year to win it. So they didn't want to waste time with the rookie. I mean, a couple of years ago, they said, well, now he's up. He might as well play. We're struggling anyway. But right now, they know that they can't have a guy getting one hit in all those at bats. So that team is just phenomenal. I mean, they're everything with the Orioles. They're well rounded, man. So
I mean, yeah. I mean, I could see. I think Holiday getting sent down is probably good because he is such a high touted prospect. Everybody's talking him up this year. It's like this guy's the face of the organization, and he was probably pressing too when
yeah,
he's trying to get a hit. He's like, I'm the face. I'm this, and this. I got to do this. I got to do that. So he's probably pressing. And, he's a 20-year-old kid at the end of the day. So it's probably good. Yes, Grayson Rodriguez got put on the 15-day IL, not the DL anymore. I always want to go back to the DL, but I know it's not that anymore.
I know. I say it too, man. We're old, so it's acceptable. People know what we're talking about.
All
So
right. Rookie of the year. This is a name. Rookie of the year guy. Unfortunately, he's on the Orioles. Colton Cowser. That's a guy to watch. He's having a good year already. 6 home runs, been 277, 18 RBIs. It's just, they're stacked. Henderson, 10 home runs, 24 RBIs. Rutschman batting 310. It just doesn't end.
no, I mean they're a stacked team, man. And then they got one of the best catching prospects in the minors, supposedly I was reading about. So it just never stops for them, man. So
But
it's insane that Jeff's team is. They're going to be, a lot to deal with, over the
a
next
lot
few
to
because
deal
they're
with
young.
because
They're not
they're
going
young and
anywhere.
you're going to have, 6-7 years where you're not going to have to pay these guys big money, or they can do what a lot of these teams are doing and try to, re-up these young guys early and get them on team-friendly contracts like we saw with Ozzy Albies and Ronald Acuna and all these guys. And now these contracts look amazing. And, what your Red Sox do with Bello, that just trying to play on their future, that it's
Yeah,
going to be
no, that's
coming
what
up.
they did, and Bello is out a little. Bleezy. Yeah, Bello's out, but yeah, play on their future. He should be coming back sooner than later, so
But
that's good.
speaking
And
of your
speaking of
Reds,
good rotations, I cannot believe the Red Sox. I know it's not sustainable, but they have the best ERA starting staff in the baseball right now. So it's insane that the Red Sox starting staff has been phenomenal. The guy going tonight, Tanner Houck, he's been pitching lights out. He's even had a complete game, but when I was younger, a complete game wasn't big news, but he had a complete game shutout this year. He's been pitching great, and it's been fun to see, man. He's just, he's out there gunning it, and it's been a lot of fun watching this so far. So
I mean, yeah, speaking of your Red Sox, I mean, they're 18-14. They won 4 out of the last 5. So, the way even you were talking about them before during spring training, you didn't think this was going to happen. Obviously, we got a lot more baseball to play, but they've come out 4 games they're 4 games over 500, and they're in third place. They're right there in the wild card. Still divisions there, and obviously, you said they got the best ERA in baseball.
yeah. Hey, there's Scotty. Hey, Scotty. We were talking about your Cole. He's scheduled to throw off the mound here in the next, on Monday, is it, or something?
That's what they're saying. Monday is what I've been hearing.
Yeah.
But he's, when he comes off the IL, will be his stint. The 60-day will be the 27th, which you won't be ready. I'm hoping. My hope is maybe June 15th.
There you go.
Is
There
what
you
I'm
go.
really hoping. If he's back by then, that'd be great. That'd be solid for me. But yeah, I mean, I'm going to give one of your Red Sox guys a lot of credit here. I was watching the Sunday night game against the Cubs. They walk Duran, and him on the bases is fun to
Oh
watch.
no,
It's
he's
fun to
fun.
watch him
He's so much fun to watch on the base paths.
on the
He can
bases.
fly.
But you Devers comes up, and that was just such a professional at bat. And this guy, he's not looking for home runs. He just does his job. Bam, puts it right through the gap, and Duran just flies around first to third. Now on the other hand is Tyler O'Neill looking. I'm like, all you got to do, O'Neill, is just get the ball in the air, and he's trying to swing out of his backside to hit a bomb. But Devers was a beautiful bat, and that's just professional at bat, and he just does his job and gets it first and third, which was very nice.
Yeah. Well, it worked out for O'Neill. He got a little bit lucky, so he and then actually on that play, Duran got a little bit lucky. I'm like, why? Because he's so fast. To me, I mean, if the shortstop makes that play, it was Swanson. Even if he makes that slight, he's gonna be able to tag up and score from home anyway. And he was like halfway down the line, so I'm like,
Yeah, I know.
I know he
mean,
wasn't going to score, so they got lucky that he couldn't hold on to the ball.
I was with you. I was surprised. I thought you were tagging because with this speed and the angle, he would have caught that ball. Making a throw to home would have been
Very difficult.
very,
Yeah.
very difficult. But yeah, he was all the way down. But yeah, just watching the guy on the bases and the intensity he runs with is just fun in itself.
No, it is. And kudos to O'Neill. He's hitting the cover off the ball right now. So I can't blame him too much for trying to hit it off to be the hero. And, so it's just, I have to say, I didn't think he would have this many home runs at this point in the season. So it's been awesome. He's an often injured guy. So I'm holding my breath every time. He's already missed some time this year due to injury when he had like concussion type symptoms when him and Devers ran into each other. But hopefully he stays healthy for the majority of the season and he puts up these amazing numbers.
Yeah, I mean, but let's move to the Central, which is like the most surprising division because obviously we're all kind of down on both Centrals. And the AL Central, you got the Indians who got the best record in the AL right now at 20-11. Granted, I haven't watched a lot of Indians baseball, but I mean they've won 2 out of the last 5. But 20-11 after the injury to Shane Bieber is very surprising.
I know when Bieber went down, I thought they were like toast. Not that one guy, the starting rotation makes. But I just thought, that they were in trouble because Bieber was one of my projected maybe Cy Young again type winning pitcher this year, and he just went down right away. And it's just, but yet they're still winning. So
I mean, still getting it done, and you got solid veterans. Jose Ramirez, Stephen Kwan. Even though Stephen Kwan is not a veteran, the guy is just a gamer. He's batting 349. But on the other side, I mean, we got two very young teams, very competitive with Kansas City, 19-13, right there in second, and Detroit, who was 18-13. Detroit's won 4 out of the last 5 games.
right.
Kansas City's got, Miss Salvador Perez having a nice little comeback, batting 335. A guy we like, Bobby Witt, 324 RBIs, 18 RBIs. Seth Lugo, who is starting now, who was always in that pen with the Mets, is 5-1. So I mean,
some pitchers are having remarkable years this year that you weren't expecting to have. So, and don't look down in that division though. The Minnesota Twins, who the Red Sox happen to start a weekend series against it. They've won 10 games in a row. So they're on fire right now. They got a 10-game winning streak. So I'm hoping it ends.
And then you got the Twins right there at 17-13. So besides Chicago, might be one of the worst teams in the last 20 how many years with only 6 wins. You got 4 teams all in 2.5 games. So it's very competitive. Detroit, having Tanner Skubals 4-0. Jack Flaherty's having a nice comeback, who's definitely shout out Harvard Westlake High School in Studio City, California. No, not Encino or Studio City. But he's having a nice little comeback because that was a guy kind of got thrown to the side after he struggled in St. Louis there. But I mean, the Twins were struggling for a while there. And now, they're coming back, but they just lost.
They won 10 in a row, man. I can figure the Red Sox have to get them when they're on this tremendous hot streak, but that's baseball. Tanner Houck goes with the Red Sox tonight, so I'm hopeful that maybe we can squash their winning streak right there tonight. So,
I mean, they lost Brian Buxton. What I don't know. What did he go on? Was he on 15?
Yeah, I have all that information if you give me a minute. So, because I have Nathan Avadi, Brian Buxton. He left with the knee, so he's on the 10-day IL.
Okay, but that's a guy who's been off injured his whole career too. So, I've always been waiting for that big breakout, being a big high prospect that he can't really stay on the field. But the Central is competitive, which is very surprising. I'm very surprised, but early in the season is very, very competitive division.
No, it's very. I mean, it's going to be right now. I mean, they got four, like you said, 4 of the teams have winning records. So I mean, it's just what more can you say? They're very, very solid right now.
But on the other hand, AL West is not looking too competitive. Got Seattle at 17-14, Texas 17-15, and then you got the A's, who are, who wants the A's? They're actually only 2 games under 500.
I know they're not even that far out of the division, so I know it's only May 3rd, and a long ways to go. But they're starting a series against the Marlins tonight, so that's a beatable team. So we'll see how that shapes up. But before you know it, they could end they could end up being like a 500 team or so. And I would have never thought that because of earlier in the season when I watched how they were playing. But they've been good, man. They're 7-3. They're 7-3 over their last 10. They're playing solid baseball in the stadium that no one shows up to, basically, in the city that's not going to have a baseball team for much longer. But yet they're a story that's kind of fun to talk about because they're doing way above expectations. Yes, they have a losing record, but they're way above expectations.
way above expectations. I might not be, and I'm a huge baseball fan. you want to talk baseball, go to me. Even my brother, my older brother who works for Fox, and he will be like, you want good baseball information, go to Russ. I might not be able to name 5 guys on the A's starting lineup. That's how little I know. I mean, I know Blade and Shea Ling are leaders. So
Yeah, no, I mean, no, it's just, it's another money ball in the making, like the movie they made with Brad Pitt, as acting as Billy B. They they got a good story going on. So we'll see how long it lasts. But right now they're playing definitely above my expectations for them, without a doubt.
way above expectations. Seattle's, they took 2 from the Braves, which is impressive, but they're only 3 games. Texas having a little down. Obviously, that rotation doesn't have Scherzer back. Dane Dunning's got 3 wins.
Yeah.
John Gray, 2.48 ERA. And I'm sure a lot of people are happy the Astros are still 9 games under 500.
No, they're still. We kept on saying we think they're going to wake up. They still very well. They've played 31 games, so there's still 130 something. Basically 100. My math stinks, but basically a lot of games left. And but for right now, yeah, they're doing the longer. Then we're going to get to the sad news when we get to the Angels, because it's really, to me, was disheartening. But the Angels, I know you're going to talk about it. We put them on our thumbnail for tonight's show. Mike Trout was having another Mike Trout like year, bounced back from last year's injury, and was putting up, talking about MVP candidates. He was definitely up there in the mix of MVP candidates. And then here he is again. He's not going to be season ending like last year, but still missing time. He was visibly upset when they interviewed him because he just can't explain it. And he said he didn't feel it when it happened, but just jogging out during he just felt weirdness in the knee. So they did the MRI and turned being a torn meniscus or strained meniscus, whatever the proper term is. So it's probably not torn because he wouldn't be coming back this year, but it's just, it's just sad, man, because I mean, this guy, he already had 6 stolen bases. He had 10 home runs, which is tied for the league still. And it's just, to me, we talk about him often on this show, saying he's one of the best baseball players that a lot of people don't see because he's out west. So if you live in the East, you're not seeing Mike Trout. His team doesn't make the playoffs. But he was having, now Otani's no longer on the roster. He was the stud once again, the man on the team, and he was putting up the numbers. And it just stinks, man. I mean, it's just, to me, it's just, he's tied with Gunnar Henderson for home run lead and stealing bases and all that. So I just like Mike Trout a lot. Outside of the Red Sox, he's probably my most fun guy to watch. And to me, it's just, I was upset when I realized he was going back on the, IL, and it just stinks.
Yeah, I mean, I love Mike Trout. I mean, it's definitely been I wish, I'm from LA, so I saw him a handful of times live and on TV because, I'm watching on the West Coast. But it's definitely a guy who's been fighting injuries his whole career. So him going down, I feel like he's always having, when he's healthy, he's always having an MVP season. And yeah, it's definitely not a lot of people who are your average baseball fans, just your casual baseball fans, probably watch Mike Trout.
I know, it's a shame. Yeah, it's really a shame. And hopefully he comes back healthy. The funny thing is, this year, for the first time ever, there was actually some rumblings that maybe he would be traded. And we could have been saying the Angels just may sell high at this point because they're a franchise mired with just losing their recent superstars. They're not really going anywhere anytime fast, so they could have probably got a haul if Mike Trout would have stayed healthy. But now I don't even know what you're going to get from a team. Everyone's going to be, we're not giving you our best because we don't even know if he's going to play 5 games before he's hurt again, But because he's always said he's happy with the Angels, but there were he's denied it, but there were some rumblings. I mean, the MLB network are saying they even heard some rumblings that, maybe at the trade deadline, he would not be off the block. He would actually, they would listen to offers, but now here he is hurt again. So I would have loved to see him to go to a contender.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That would have been great. We'll move to the NL. Obviously, best record in baseball. We got the Braves. who are 20-9. Who do they
Yeah, I know
got?
they started a little sluggish, and then they just been on a tear. So
On a tear. Ozzy Albies, like we talked about, is probably the best contract in baseball. This guy, in my opinion, but they're starting a series with the Dodgers, so that will be entertaining. Obviously, tonight starts at 10:10 Eastern, and tomorrow's
I
9:15.
know. Yeah, I'm not staying up for. I only stay up for my team when it's that late. But yes, that would be a game to keep note of.
And so I mean, they started sluggish, but now they're picking it up. Chris Sale was looking really good, 4-1 with a 3.44 ERA. And they're doing all of this with Ronald Acuna, who has not looked that great. He's only batting 252, and he's kind of sluggish too.
Yeah. No, they are, and then, but yet here they are sitting atop. So when they really get hot, forget it. And these Olsen's going to start hitting, and all these guys are going to start hitting the baseball. And but yet, I mean, without some of their guys hitting their best, they're in first place. So I don't see anyone. I think Philadelphia is a playoff team, but I just don't see anyone overcoming them in that for the division. Excuse me. I mean, right now, I mean, they're right up. I mean, they're only Phillies. They're only a half game out. But I just think with the whole season that the Braves are just too solid throughout, and it's just
The Phillies are right there at 21-11, and obviously last week we had some people talking about Alex Baum, who's a hell of a third baseman, spent 362, 30 RBIs, is super hot, and the guy is a hell of a defensive third baseman too. So they're right there, and they're doing all this with their guy Bryce Harper, who's 233.
I know that's why some of the stars of baseball are struggling a wee bit this year without even the power numbers that they normally have and stuff. And it's just weird. And but they're like you said, they're still winning. So that's all they matter at the end for the team game. So baseball's a team game. So it's insane if that they're doing that. You just know that Harper's going to get his, just like I was telling you about Judge earlier.
Yeah, he'll
Harper's
find a way to get hits. I
he would
mean,
get he must get his, and he'd be back and start getting hot again.
they're doing Zach Wheeler, who's supposed to be their ace, hasn't looked that good. He's 3-3. You got Suarez, who's 5-0. Who's got the best ERA on the team with 132, and Nola is 4-1. So it's just and the Phillies, at least for me, and probably I think the Phillies are always searching for that number 3 guy they can go to. Maybe it's Suarez, who can be that guy that you need 3 pitchers in October. Maybe he can be that guy that they need. So they got the solid 1-2-3.
No, you're right. I mean, those two teams. I don't know. I just think Braves are the better team, but I think they would battle all year. And then in the playoffs, it's whoever gets hotter. That's just asked the Phillies last year. Again, they've eliminated the Braves, so it's just you never know. But I mean, yeah, that's a really good team, man. I mean, both of those teams are top notch. They just happen to both be in the same division. So
And then in the Central, you got the surprising
I
Milwaukee's
know.
20-11. Very surprising. They've won 4 of the last 5 games. Was it William Contreras? Spent 341. I mean, that's another. I couldn't. You got these couple guys. You got Freddie Peralta's 3-0. Connor Ray's 3-0. 2.67 ERA. I mean, I don't know how they're doing it. I know it's early, but I mean, Milwaukee's looking good so far.
No, Milwaukee. I mean, they're 20. I mean, 20-11. I mean, up on top of the division with the Cubs a couple games behind them, and so it's the Pirates have regressed to the norm. They started off the season hot, but again, that's another division with a lot of teams bunched up because the Reds and the Cubs and the Brewers are all bunched up there together. So it's just the Pirates because the Pirates started off as probably the hottest team in baseball, and now they just kind of gone. So
I mean,
we can start getting into our Paul Skeens conversation eventually
all right.
here.
So yeah, right after we'll go. The Cubs are only 19-14, and they got, was it Imanaga, the lefty from Japan, who wasn't even the highest international free agent,
No,
5-0 with a .7 ERA, 35 Ks. This guy is just still throwing out gems every time.
no, he is. I mean, the Red Sox, that's the one game we lost against the Cubs during that series. So, and he is definitely, I saw him pitch the whole game. So, I mean, he didn't have a complete, but I mean, I watched him pitch finally, not just highlights. And he lived up to his billing. So far, he's even better than the higher price guy on the Dodgers. So, I mean, he's been a fun guy to watch for sure.
They got the one guy I'm watching on the Cubs is Pete Crow Armstrong. He is another guy from Harvard Westlake, which has pumped out a lot of, Lucas Giolito went to that high school, Jack Flaherty. Why do I always forget the lefty from Max Fried went to that high school? They've pumped out a lot of good professional players. Actually, Giolito, Flaherty, and Fried were all on the same pitching staff. So Giolito was a senior, and Flaherty and Fried were sophomores, all on the same pitching staff. Pete Crow Armstrong was 2020 or 2021 maybe.
Yeah.
259. Obviously,
That's where I'm amazed at you. You know where all I know that comes from your scouting era.
well,
But you
he's
know where
also
all these kids, you know where they all go to high school. I know some of the local South Florida kids
he's also a local California guy, so I know the high school very well.
Yeah.
And he was a guy I saw at the area code games, which was used to be in Long Beach, California. They've thrown it around. The upper class games has been in San Diego and Long Beach, where you'll get some phenomenal high school talent that a lot of these, a handful of guys now will be alumni. But I'm going to get this out here because I don't want Rob stealing my thunder. I'm saying we're going to get 2 weeks at the most, and Skeens is going to be up in the big leagues.
All right. Hey, I like it. I hope you're right because now the control they already have it at this point for this. So I hope he does because did it kick in yet the control or they still have to wait a couple more?
I think the control kicks in. He still would be a rookie because you have to play a certain amount of games. So
Right.
he's already considered a rook. Will be a rookie next year, and
Okay.
they've started ramping him up. He went 6 innings the other day. I think he was getting frustrated because they've been limiting his innings, but they're starting to ramp him up. So I could see they're starting maybe making the move that they're going to bring him up, and I think they see he's being too dominant. He's dominating the minor league hitting. You just got to bring him up. And the Central's still wide open, even though the Brewers are, 20-11. It's still a pretty piled up division. So it's anybody's race.
No, I mean to me, it's just get this kid up there, man. I mean, do him right. He's a college kid. It's not like you're rushing a high school kid up there that just got drafted. He's had seasoning with the Air Force and LSU, winning the national championship with LSU against the Florida Gators, unfortunately. But the man is, he's a man. He's not a kid. He's ready to go play baseball in the major league. I mean, he's already too good for the minors. At this point, move him up to the main. Why are you going to waste those are I understand control this and that, but if you got a talent like that in your system and with the known history that pitchers go through, why are you going to waste those innings on the minor league level? Get him up in the majors, get those innings on his arm in the majors, and let's see what this young man can do against the world's best players.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a matter of time. For me, if you followed and looked at him, he's dominating the
No, I mean
international
when
league
he
right
stands
now.
on the mound against them, sometimes it looks like he's like a man playing little kid against youth out there running in the
Yeah, so
minors.
it's just I feel, in my opinion, he showed it in spring training, and now they put him back to get a little more seasoning, and he's just too overpowering. Maybe he's not going to be he won't overpower MLB hitters, but
Oh,
I
of
think
course not, but
he's going to have
still,
good enough stuff to get the job done.
no, without a doubt, he just needs to be up there. Yes, he's going to get, they're going to whack him some just because, major leaguers are going to whack you if you don't locate perfectly. Because if they know what you're going to throw and it's flat, I don't care how hard you're throwing, whatever, they're going to hit it. let him take his bumps and bruises, but let him do it on the major league level because I mean, what's he proven on the minor league level at this point? He's
Yeah.
already proven what he can do. Get to the big boys. This is why you draft someone number one overall out of college. So they're a little more advanced than worrying about a high school kid. They took a kid out of college, get him in there, man. Let him play. So
I'm 100%. I just let him get his bumps and bruises at the MLB level. So hopefully I'm thinking it's gonna I'm gonna go out on a limb and make a prediction 2 weeks. Let's go.
all right.
If I'm
I,
wrong, I guess I'm wrong. I'll take it. But I'm going off of what I'm hearing and then what I really want too, which is I want to see him on the big league level.
Of course, me too. Oh, I'm sorry. I skipped over this. I kind of jumped the gun there with the schemes. Let me go back to the Reds for 1 second. De La Cruz is having a phenomenal, another MVP, maybe even front runner MVP candidate, at least Rob's front runner MVP candidate in the National League. He is phenomenal. He's on pace. I wrote it down because when they said it the other day, I'm like, there's no way. He's on pace for 42 homers and 98 stolen bases. Of course, is he probably going to maintain that through the whole season? Probably not. But when you just watch him on the base paths, he is just so exciting, man. I mean, he could take Okuna's numbers and advance and have more stolen bases and more homers. It's just crazy what the young man's doing. He's just fun. I mean, you hear Cincinnati Reds. They haven't, when I was a kid, Cincinnati Reds were pretty darn good, but it's been a few years since they've really been one of the oldest baseball clubs around. And now they're fun to watch with him, man. He's just an exciting brand of baseball, man. It's just fun. And then he has the power now to go with it. That's the craziest part of it because he has the
I mean, yeah,
speed. I'm
I'm
sorry, you can go.
I cut you
I'm
off.
done.
Go for it. My bad.
I was gonna say, and he's actually really good in the field for too. Overall, I mean, he has the workings of being good. So to me, he's just a really good all around baseball player.
I'm with you. This guy is fun to watch. Obviously, his bat and the way he moves on the base path, but his arm at shortstop, he's got
I
it.
know I know. I couldn't believe he
For
had
all
like
the
one of the hardest.
analytical people,
Yeah,
it
I
was.
know. I saw the same thing. It was like one of his throws was like the hardest since like 2015 within the fastest throw or something like that. So it's crazy.
But
So
I mean, Cincinnati, that's a good baseball town and Great America Ballpark. Still, I would like to go. I've heard it's an amazing ballpark to go visit. So and it's I keep repeating myself. I mean, they're right there in the Central, which is
oh yeah,
I,
they're right there, man. They're a game above 500. 4 games out, a lot of baseball to be played. Milwaukee's probably going to kind of go back a little more than maybe what we think. So there's a lot of baseball play to be played, and that division's basically still pretty much wide open. So it should be fun. But right, yes, I agree with you though on the Brewers. They're very surprising. I did not expect them to be this one of the best records in baseball at this point in the season.
we'll go to the NL West, which has been pretty boring. It's basically
Yeah,
the
well,
Dodgers,
the
the, Do-
Dodgers are going to be in cruise control as far
the
as the
Dodgers and
division now.
everybody else. But we got Mookie Betts, who's just doing Mookie Betts things.
Yeah, I know. I have to hear it
37,
all the time. I know. It's painful, but he's a good
25
guy.
RBIs. I don't
Yeah.
even know what he was at one point leading every offensive stat in the MLB. Otani's got 7 homers, spent 336. Will Smith spent 335. Yamamoto is starting to pick it up. He's 3-1, 2.91 ERA. Glass now 5-1 with the 2.72 ERA, 53 Ks. It's just for me, it's the Dodgers and then everybody else in that
No,
division.
no, you are 100% right. I mean, they're in cruise control, my friend. They're just in that division. They're going to win the division. Their thing is, if they really want, how hard do they push for number one seed in the National League and all? And that's it. Because I mean, they already got the. I mean, you can almost crown them division champs right now. There's no one that's going to catch them in the division. They're going to have some games where they lose a few in a row, but with that way too much talent on that team in the lineup, in the pitching rotation, everywhere throughout. It's just a solid team, and I just don't see anyone, out west in the National League. I
And
mean,
they're supposed to
Padres, Giants, Diamondbacks, Rocky. I mean, our Rockies are already 12 games back, and it's only May 3rd. So it's insane. They're going to be in cruise control for the division.
yeah, Padres 2 under 500, Giants same thing, Diamondbacks surprisingly 4 games under 500. And the Dodgers are expected to get Walker Buehler back, which just adds to that rotation that's got Yamamoto, Glasnow, James Paxton's been there, Gavin Stone. I mean, and then you get a guy who has been injured the last couple of years, who was a Cy Young guy when healthy.
They're stacked, man. I mean, it's just they. What can I say? They do a good job of signing free agents. They do a good job of bringing up their own talent to supplement their high price acquisitions. They're just they're a good example. They haven't been able to really get over the hump other than the COVID season as far as winning it all, but they're always always basically the consistency, one of the best teams in baseball over the past several years.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so I'm going to go. Let's go. Early season AL and NL MVP. Who you got?
Oh man, like you say, I guess NL. I would get the pain out of the way. Well, I would say Mookie Betts, but with De La Cruz, if he ends up getting the over 40 homers and have 98 stolen bases, I think it'd be impossible to steal that. Now, do I think he's going to get that? No, but when I was reading these people saying that's what he's on pace for, then he's my MVP. But if I had to go, I guess I would go Mookie Betts for sure. And in the American League, like I say, maybe Gunnar Henderson, or I don't know, because like I said, I would go maybe Gunnar Henderson because we got an Oriole fan in the house here. I would make our viewers happy, make sure they smash those like buttons for us. But even your Juan Soto's having a good year. I mean, a whole bunch of guys are really doing well. But Gunnar Henderson, like I say, he's tied for the American League in home runs with 10, and Mike Trout's right behind him. And just so information, Tyler O'Neill with 9 right behind them.
Well,
But and like and it's a lot of fun, man. And the OPS, of course, is a big thing these days. And your Juan Soto has the best in the American League on that. So, it's just, good stuff. But if I had to go all about, I would just go make our viewer happy and say, because between his fielding, all around play, Gunnar Henderson right now, and I guess that's who I would say.
Rob, I don't want our viewers to think we're on the same page, but I got it right here. You can see it. I got Betts and Henderson.
Oh, wow. There you go.
So we're not just trying to go on the same
I know,
page.
I'm just teasing. Hey, but he throw you some Yankee love. He says Soto would be MVP.
Hey, I'll be happy with that. I'll be happy with that. If Soto, obviously he'll get his lumps, but I think Soto's an early guy. He's playing for that big contract. It's that big contract year, so. And, obviously he turned down 415 with the Nationals, so he's going to want a lot. And he's seeing all this money thrown around nowadays. He's definitely he's in his prime. He's 26.
Yeah, I know. He's still young, and it seems like he's been around forever because he came up at like 19 years old with the Nationals. And it's just, he's had a phenomenal run already. Like you say, turned down the mega huge contract from the Nationals to test the market. So then they said, okay, we're never going to be able to sign him. So they shipped him off to the Padres, who in turn ship him off to you guys. And he will definitely test the open market. That's just the way Burrows runs normally. I mean, unless the Yankees give him so much money that he knows there's no way they could ever top that amount, he's going to want to at least test the open market. Now, could the Yankees still offer and beat everyone? Yes. But knowing Scott Boras' history, he's going to want to test that open market, especially now that they've waited this long. They turned that much down money from the Nationals. I'd be shocked if they sign him before the season's over. Like I said, it would have to be such a huge amount that he says, okay, we're not. It's going to have to be like getting up there with Otani type money, almost. Not
Well,
quite
I
that
mean,
easy.
unfortunately, yes, the Yankees can outbid and anybody. They have the money to do that. They have their own TV rights and every. They got the Yes Network and everything. But the problem is they got the little brother there in Queens with their owners got one of the biggest checkbooks in the U.S.
Yeah. Oh
You
no,
know,
he would definitely. Cohen would definitely. He tried a couple of years ago. It kind of backfires, and then they kind of did a light reset and moved on from some of those guys pretty quickly. And he's just but chomping at the bit to do it all over again. And Soto will be the biggest name, I would imagine. I'm probably forgetting someone, but right now, Soto being a free agent is a
and
huge
on
name
your
out there.
question, once Judge gets on the whole exciting thing being a baseball fan or a Yankees fan is having Judges never had that protection where it's like I'm gonna walk Juan Soto where Aaron Judge once he gets back on track he's sitting right there you're gonna have to pitch to him.
Yeah.
So that's always been that's the exciting thing about having Soto for me. So Judge will get on track. He'll figure it out.
I know, man. I mean, like Judge and Soto together back to back reminds me of like David Ortiz and Manny Ramirez in the Red Sox prime years of winning. It's like, who do you pick your poison? You're not going to be able to walk both of them, and you want to walk Ortiz and you want to walk Manny Ramirez. So that's what the Yankees have going on right now, and so we will see. I mean, Judge just hasn't lived up to his end of the deal yet, but he will eventually. So. And Back It Up Ben's podcast, guys, check him out for sure. But he also mentions the Orioles have new
Yeah,
ownership,
they
and
got
they seem more,
new
and they're
ownership.
more
Yeah,
willing to seem to offended that they're more willing to spend. They took on Corbin Burns, knowing that he may just be 1 year and done, but they feel like maybe they can get him. And I forgot, man. There's going to be some sexy free agents names next year. If all these guys stay healthy, of course, that's a big part of it.
yeah.
So
I mean, but Soto will definitely be the cream of the crop, and he'll be number one. And
yeah.
you got Scott Boras, and we saw what Scott Boras did this year with his guys, which might be backfiring. So he'll definitely try to get it. He tries to get as much as physically possible, and hey, that's what his clients want. That's what he wants to get for his clients. Obviously, he wants to get as much as possible too because he gets his cut.
Of course,
So
too. That's why I was disappointed in all my teasing about how Tyler O'Neill of the Red Sox is having a come to find out he's a Scott Boras. I'm like, son of a gun, we're not going to get a. I was thinking, oh, maybe he'd just be, a nice little sincere guy. Like he had a bounce back year with the Red Sox. It'd be like, oh, let's give them a hometown discount. They gave me my second chance when the Cardinals were just basically putting him out the pasture. And then I find out he's a Scott Boras client. I'm like, son of a gun, son of a gun. There's no romance there going on. So it'd be another guy if he stays healthy that will be testing the market. So it should be fun.
yeah, I mean, but we got a lot of baseball left.
Oh no, a lot baseball left.
A lot of
So
baseball left. We're only here on May 3rd. So
yeah, the
we're
Red Sox and Yankees haven't even played each other yet.
haven't even
So
played yet, and that's got to be coming up soon here.
yeah, it comes sometime in June. So we will see. Tomorrow, is May 4th. So the May the 4th be with it. Baseball always catches on to that the past few years. So tomorrow's Star Wars days around Major League Baseball parks. So hopefully my team hits some blast, out to the as far as the Death Star and they start hitting some wins.
The Yankees play the Dodgers before they play the Red Sox this year.
I know it's just crazy how the balanced schedule plays out. Overall, I like the balanced schedule because you get some teams you don't see. But I have to admit, part of me missed the grind of the division games that you gotta eat.
And
So
the,
part
the
of me likes a balanced schedule. A part of me misses. But I see why they did it because you don't get tired of the same opponents over and over. You actually get to now at least every other year you could see some team come to your local area if you live in a market and you can say
didn't
because
like
like
the
now I know the Red Sox will come to and they're coming this year. So I know the Red Sox will come to Miami at least every other year, so that's cool.
You didn't like the 18 Yankees Red Sox games?
Yeah, that's what I said. How many division games are there now? I gotta look that up, but it's definitely a lot less. I think
Teams
it's
will
in the
play 13 games against 4 opponents within
yeah.
its division. So
Yeah,
15
that's what I
games.
thought. I thought it was 13, but since I'm a Dolphin fan, I didn't want to throw out 13 because I was thinking, oh, maybe that number is just in my head because that's why I was gonna look. I was thinking it was 13. So yeah, 13. So five less or whatever. But to me, it's just it kind of takes away. But like I said, you get teams that you
Yeah,
normally
you get
wouldn't
some,
see. You get to
like
see the Dodgers and Red Sox every year, or the Cubs and Red Sox every year, two historic franchises. I mean, on me, obviously, I'm being biased, but you get to see Yankees and Cubs, Yankees and Cardinals, all these classic teams that you normally would only get to see every so often. You get to see every year now. So, I mean, that's
I
kind of
mean,
cool.
in your case, you get the Red Sox are going down to Miami, so that's nice for you because they're right
Yep.
there. I mean, I could see the Yankees a couple
I already
times this
got
year.
tickets. Got tickets to the series already, man. The
They
minute
come to
they
they come
start,
to Tampa here in Tampa. Excuse me, they're in Tampa. They're the Tampa Bay Rays, but they're not playing in Tampa.
yeah, they're in St. Petersburg. I know. He says Scotty thinks a 162 game is for long.
Well,
So
Scotty, how many games do you think they should go? Because I'm with you. I think 162 is a little much, but I mean, what are we? What are you thinking we move down to? What's your number?
that's the thing. And then I don't think they ever will now because it would kind of then these records for season records would be gone forever. It's like no one would ever break season records again if they lower the 162. But I agree, it's a marathon. You really got to love baseball when your team's out of it in the dog days of summer and you're still trying to watch your favorite team play. I agree, it's a long season. But now that it's established, I just don't know. And like I said, because no one's ever going to break the like Aaron Judge American League home run record, or I still call it basically the record because of all
Well,
the
I mean,
steroid air.
if he could have been the record because you know Mark McGuire's got an asterisk 70, and Barry
Oh
Bonds
no, that's
has
what I'm saying. I think he's really like
so.
the record. I know, but technically, if you look at the record book, he's not the record. But yes, as far as depending on how you want to play the performance enhancing drugs angle, then yes, he has the record.
I'm with you.
So
I like 154. I mean, I don't think you can go down too much, but definitely scaling it back a little bit. But will never happen because people like their money too much. These owners are definitely greedy.
yeah.
But
Oh, and they're even talking about streaming on more services now. Roku wants to get into the Major League Baseball. So because all these other ones are watching the NFL, so man, the NFL finds all these streams of money. What can we do? Obviously, they're not all going to get the money that the NFL gets because they don't get as many eyeballs on them. But I just was reading today that Roku wants to stream games on Sunday, and they wanted like an early morning game, like before noon, to have like a market that no one they wanted like a pre-game, like that starts at 10 or 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So it's just everyone's trying to get their stuff in there, man.
yeah, yeah, and it's just it's I could see the NFL doing that too because we saw
Oh, they're
Roger.
already kind of hinting it
Yeah,
because like
Goodell already
Goodell came
talked
out and
about
says
it. So
he doesn't need like a preseason. And I know we're going to keep this short because we're baseball, but Goodell came out and said, "Oh, we don't need a preseason." So it's like already hinting like, "Oh, if we take away the exhibition, though, we're going to add some regular games or something." And he didn't say that, but to me, why else are you going to say? And I do think they need. I don't think they need like when I was a kid, they really played. Now they're down to, in less preseason games. I can see where they maybe get down to 2 or 1, but you do need to let these young guys play some so you see whether what they can do. It's more for the younger guys than the older guys when it comes to preseason football. But when he
yeah,
said that, I just thought of that. But anyway,
yeah,
back
I'm
to
with you on that one. But yeah, I mean, money. Yeah, we're hitting a lot of sports. Yeah, college doesn't have a preseason. They just spring practice and all that. If all you guys on here too, I'm gonna pump my other podcast, Touchdown in Paradise. college football here on the Finstock Sports Network. We'll be back in September. Just wanted to do a little promo. Now you're talking college football.
Yeah.
Only college football show on here on Finstock Sports Network. So we'll be back. Me and three of my
You're
buddies.
unique, Russ. You're part of the only baseball show on this network, which I am too. But then I also talk about the Dolphins on this network, which everyone does. So I'm not unique there.
Honestly,
Everyone
Rob,
talks.
I think we might be definitely touchdown in paradise, but this one where we're not solely based on one team. We're hitting all 30. Our college football, we're definitely going through the whole, every team, where we're not focusing on maybe one or two franchises.
Yeah. No, for sure, man. So it's been fun so far, man. I know we're almost at the end of tonight's show, but it's been a fun, I'm enjoying this because with the football, I am strictly like Dolphins, 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 and then NFL draft, I kind of look at all the prospects each year, but mainly focused on what the Dolphins want. So it's just, so it's fun to be a little more broad and look at baseball in general. And, now I am getting my eyes on the bridge so I can see De La Cruz running those bases, so I know what I'm talking about when I come in here. So it's added fun. I know Gunnar Henderson's having a great MVP type season, and that they've got lots of talent. So it's fun being a little more broad because when it comes to the Dolphins, I'm strictly, and I've always been my whole life strictly Red Sox. But when you and I met through Bobby, and he said, "Hey, we want a baseball show, but about everything," because and that's what we did, So you've already were there. Me, I was more Red Sox centric, but I've been better about watching other games, reading about other teams at the very least, watching MLB Network every night. So I come on here on Fridays and
Love
we
it.
can
I
talk.
love it.
Yeah,
Well,
so it's a lot of
Rob,
fun.
it's always been a pleasure. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. This is On Deck. I'm Russ Morgan here with Rob Mosley. You have a good night.
And know those like buttons for us if you get a chance.
Always.
Later, guys. Thank you.